It's going to be a general overview of SHSAT questions to review for the exam. So here we have an SHSAT question, and it asks, what is the value of x in the equation above? So here we kind of have to isolate for x. That's all this question is asking. Something important to note is that these things are inside of modulus, or they're inside of modulus symbols. That means whatever's in there has to be a positive value, right? Even if I get a negative, I have to turn it into a positive value. Okay, so let's get to solving it. So it's going to be x, and what's 47 minus 74? 47 minus 74 is negative 27, which is turned into positive 27, right? And then be plus 132 minus 331. So 132 minus 231 is negative 99, which is turned into positive 99. And this is equal to 28. The next step would be to isolate from my x. So x is going to be equal to 28 plus 27, because we're moving to the other side, and then minus 99. And that should give you your answer. So 28 plus 27 minus 99 is equal to negative 44. So therefore, the value of x in this equation is negative 44. And that's all solving this problem. Right, so this question asks this. Neil started a hike at 12 p.m., steadily increasing in altitude by 440 feet per hour for 5 hours. If he began at 230 feet below sea level, what was Neil's height above sea level at 4:30 p.m.? So we know, I'm going to start with the time, right? So for time, we know that the time elapsed, right? The time elapsed would be from 12 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. And we know that is 4.5 hours, 4.5 hours. And don't worry about this 5 hours, that's just a tricky, right? Forget about that. So all you have to worry about is the 4.5 hours that he's actually hiking, and that's what they actually want, right? So, and I know he started, and I know that he started at negative 230 feet. I like to think of it like that, because below sea level, right? Okay, that's where he started, negative 330 feet. And he goes up 440 feet per hour. So all we have to do in this case is just do 440 feet multiplied by your 4.5 hours. And it should give you an answer of 1980. Equal to 1980 feet. But this is not your correct answer, as you have to subtract out your minus 230 feet. So it would be 1980 feet, subtract 230 feet to see how much he actually covered. That's actually above sea level. And your answer from that would be 1750 feet. So you would circle 1750 feet. So let's solve this problem over here. It's negative 94 plus x over 16 is equal to 5y plus 2. And if y is equal to negative 2 in the equation above, what is the value of x? So all we have to do is just sub in for my y value and then just isolate for my x value, right? So again, let me write it out the side. You have to sub in y value, then you want to isolate for x. So you're going to be seeing me use algebra to solve this. So if my y is equal to negative 2 in this case, so it would be negative 94 plus a value of x over 16, right, is equal to 5 times negative 2 plus 2. So let me simplify my right side first, okay? So it would be negative 94 plus x over 16, right, is equal to, what's 5 times negative 2? Negative 10 plus 2 is negative 8. Now here comes the tricky part. I have to move my 16 to the other side. And how can I do it? I guess I have to multiply. I multiply by 16 on both sides. It'll get rid of the 16. So it's going to be negative 94 plus x is equal to negative 8 times 16. And if you do your calculations here, negative 8 times 16 is negative 128. So negative 94 plus x is equal to negative 128. Now I have to move this negative 94 to the other side. So my x would equal, because it'll be addition, since it's subtracting, or like if it's a negative here, it'll be a positive. So negative 128, it'll be plus 94. And your answer for this would be negative 34. And you can circle option B, which is negative 34. That would be a correct answer. Alright, so this question asks if 2y over x minus y over 2x is equal to blank over 2x and x cannot be equal to 0, what expression is represented by the blank? So first things first, I noticed that when you're subtracting any fractions, you have to have the same denominator. So I just multiply this by 2, and I multiply this by 2, so both of them get the same denominator. Okay? So then it becomes 4y 4y, right over here, 4y over 2x minus y over 2x. And when you equal this, and you have a box, right, a box over 2x, you do 4y minus y, which is 3y. And you keep the denominators the same. So your answer to this question is G, which is 3y. The question says, jar 1 and jar 2 each contain half a cup of water. If 1/4 of the cup of the water in jar 1 is poured to jar 2, how much water is now in jar 2? So a pretty straightforward question here. So it says that jar 1 and jar 2 both have a half cup of water, okay? And you take a fourth of the cup of the water in jar 1, and to do that, how do we find a fourth of the cup in jar 1? We just do, if we ever see the word of, it's always multiplication. Just to note that, okay? So it would be 1/2 multiplied by 1/4. And you're looking at 1/8, okay? And that's the amount, oops, right here, amount being poured, okay? Being poured. And then we're gonna add it to a half. So it's 1/8 plus half, because our secondary jar also is half a cup of water, okay? And multiply both the top and the bottom by 4, so they get the same denominator. It becomes, well, let me just rewrite it like this because it's a proper form. It's 1/8 plus 4/8. You get an answer of 5/8. And therefore, in jar 2, there's 5/8 of a cup. And G should be your answer. So this question states this: if n is a whole number and 0.01 is between 1/n and 1/n plus 2, what is the value of n? So if you use logic, you can probably easily figure out the answer is 99. But let's do this with our steps here. So we know that 0.01 as a fraction, right, would be equal to 1/100, right? Let's say we used a number like 99. Let's work with that because it just seems logical to use a larger number because we're working with a really small number. It's because 1 divided by the larger number would give you a smaller number, right? So let's do 1/99, and that's equal to 1/99, right? Because of that. And then if you have 1/n plus 2, right, it would be 1/99 plus 2, which is equal to 1/102. Now, if you think about it, 1/100 is between 1/99 and 1/102, right? Sorry, 1/102, right? If you're arranging, it would be 1/99, and then 1/100, and then 1/102. And see how it's in between them? So the answer should be, the value of n should be 99. And these numbers are way too small. So that's why I'm saying, if you can solve this question logically, you can solve it really quickly, right? Alright, so this question asks us, when asked a certain question in a poll, 72% of the people polled answered yes. If 56 people did not answer yes to that question, what is the total number of people who were polled? So to answer this question, the first thing I need to figure out is the percentage of people that said no, who answered no. So let's figure that out. So to figure that out, you just do 100% subtract 72%, and that would give you an answer of 28%. And this is the people who said, who answered no, okay? Or anything else other than that, okay? So now what I need to do is I need to set up an equivalent fraction. So I know that 56 over x would be equal to this 28 over here, 28/100 actually. Okay? So now how do I solve this? So to solve this, I need to actually simplify this into the simplest form possible, basically. And to do that, all I have to do is just divide both my top and my bottom by 4, right? So basically 56 over x is equal to 28/4, which is 7, and that's all over 100/4, which is 25. Now, since I have something set up like this, all I have to do is cross multiply to solve this. So it would be like this and like this, right? So it becomes 56 times 25 is equal to 7x. Okay, cool. So now I've gone to this step. What do I do now? Let me make an arrow to show where I'm going to do that here. So now I need to isolate for my x. So it'd be 56 times 25 is equal to x, and then it's over 7, right? Because I divided both sides by 7 to get rid of it. What would my x equal? You just calculate whatever's in here to figure out your value here. So it would be your values, right, multiplied together over 7, and that would give you a value of 200. Now, in the actual test, you would be asked to use division and multiplication. But an easy step, what I would actually do is I would actually cancel out the 7. I'll show you an easy step here. So let's say I had 5625 over 7. So what I would do is I would do 56 25, let me write it all over, it's equal to x. I would actually cancel this out like this, so it becomes 8 times 25 is equal to x. So you can just do one easy multiplication step to figure out your x. So your x would just be equal to 200. Alright? So that's how you can solve this question, and I can just circle number h there. A little bit of a tricky question. It says, which graph represents the solution to the inequality x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 3? So how can we solve this here? So many students will pick something just from this equation over here, but that's wrong. You can't use this, right? What you have to do is you have to just state it in the form of x. So if x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 3, then I would move this to the other side, right? It would be x has to be greater than or equal to 3 minus 4, and then therefore x has to be greater than or equal to negative 1. So just match the graph accordingly. So x is greater than or equal to negative 1. It looks like it's number e here, right? So greater than or equal to number 1, so circle number e. Letter e. It states this: Nura made a square post for the side length of 13 inches. Latrice made a square post for the side length of 15 inches. What is the difference in square inches between the area of Latrice's poster and the area of Nura's poster? So we know the area is basically the length squared, or the width squared, right? So let's figure it out. So the area of Nura's poster, so Nura's would basically just be 13 squared. And if we know our times tables, we know that 13 squared is equal to 169. Or you can just use double-digit multiplication for this. And for Latrice, we just do 15 squared. And 15 squared is equal to 225, right? And to find the difference, all you just do is 225 subtract 169. And we can figure out that 225 minus 169 is equal to 56. So therefore, the difference in area is basically going to be your 56, so you can just circle letter E. The reciprocal of 1 over 4 is added to the reciprocal of 3. What is the reciprocal of the sum? So we know the reciprocal of 1 over 4, the reciprocal, here's right here, the reciprocals. The reciprocal of 1 over 4 is basically 4 over 1, because you just switch it around, just flip it around, okay? And the reciprocal of 3 would be 1 over 3. And now what is the reciprocal of the sum? So firstly, we're gonna add these together. We're gonna do 4 over 1 plus 1 over 3. Multiply by 3 at the top and the bottom, so it'll be 12 over 3 plus 1 over 3, and you would get 13 over 3. And then it says, what is reciprocal of sum? It would just be 3 over 13, if you just switch it, right? This would be the reciprocal of that. So your answer would be A. So here we have a calculation question, and it asks 3 times, or is it 3 bracket 0.01 minus 3 bracket 0.1 is equal to what in these options? So what you have to understand to use this is the distributive property. So if I have something outside the bracket, you have to multiply into whatever's inside of the bracket, right? It's just another term for multiplication. And if something outside of here, like this negative 3, you have to multiply it into this 0.1. Okay? So let's do this. So it's 3 times 0.01. It would be 0.03. And then from that, you would subtract 0.1 times 3, which would just be negative 0.3. Right? And if you do your calculations correctly, 0.03 minus 0.3 would give us an answer of negative 0.27. Right? And since that's your answer, you can circle F. Alright, so this question states, an ice cream shop sells 16 cups of ice cream for $48 and 4 cups for $12. There's a proportional relationship between the number of cups of ice cream and the cost. What is the constant of proportionality for this relationship? So this question asks us to find the constant of proportionality for this relationship. So I want to work around this with fractions here. So I know it's $48 for 16, right? I want to find the cost of a single cup, right? So I'm trying to find the cost of a single cup. So it would be $48 over 16, and this will give me the cost of a single cup. And if you do 48 over a value of 16, you would get an answer of 3. right? So it's basically $3 per cup for the first one here. For the second one, we have $12 for 4 cups. And we see if we do 12 over 4, we get an answer of $3 as well. So therefore, the cost of a single cup in this case is $3, and this proportionality remains the same. So our answer here is F, $3 per cup. And that's all. Alright, so this question asks us, on the number line above, what is the distance in units between the midpoint of PQ and the midpoint of QR? So the midpoint of PQ in this case is going to be -1 right there, because it's right in the middle, right? And let's look at the midpoint of QR. The midpoint of QR is 4. So we're just going to have to find the distance between it. So let's just do some counting here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So therefore our answer is C, which is 5. Right, for our final question here, we have a probability question, okay? And the question states, the probability of an event occurring is 0.05. What is the chance that the event will occur? Okay, and these are options. You have likely for A, B, unlikely, C, impossible, D, neither likely or unlikely. Now, on your test, this number can change. This is 0.05. If you just know for what 0.05 will be, it's not a good amount of information, right? What you really need to know is the actual information needed to answer this question. So theoretically, for probability, if something is likely to happen, it has to be above 0.50. It has to be above 0.50 or 50%. Okay? For unlikely, it has to be below 0.50 or 50%. Now for impossible, it has to be 0 or 0%, which I guess does exist in this case. Now, neither likely or unlikely is perfectly balanced at 50%. So in this case, the answer to 0.05 should be B, which is unlikely. Alright, so that was the final question. I hope it helped, and have a good day.